That one was way too close for comfort, but the Pistons get the W, bounce back against the Oklahoma City Thunder, but that one was too close.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I am your host, Khahil. I've been covering the Detroit Pistons for the last 4 years. Been a credential media member now for the last 3 years. I appreciate all of you guys who make Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. Real quickly on that, I've seen, and I forgot to tell you guys this last episode, Spotify had an issue over the last week or so. So if some of you guys, Spotify listeners, are wondering where all the episodes have been, they have been episodes out. I believe Spotify has it all worked out now, but there was an issue with the Spotify app. I apologize for those on Spotify who weren't seeing the episodes. If you guys want to go back and listen, you guys have a lot of episodes to catch up on, but I do apologize for whatever was going on with Spotify. But with that said, today's episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Have your cake and drink it too. Birthday cake flavor is back. No fork needed. Vanilla, cakey flavor, caffeinated kick, and no sugar. It's party time. Order now at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. Later on, I want to talk about how well the starters played. Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Ausar Thompson really responded. Duncan Robinson gave us all a scare. I fell to my knees. Fourth quarter, he went down holding his ankle. I swear to God, I fell down to my knees like the Yu-Gi-Oh gif. I was ready to go. I was ready to go. We'll talk about that later. It was a tough bench game, especially from some individuals. And we got to see JB try to give someone a shot, and it didn't go very well. So we'll talk about that a little later. But I want to start off with just the overall game and it being way too close, way closer than it needed to be. At one point, I was legitimately concerned that they might blow this at the end. The Thunder cut it to a 4-point game late in the fourth quarter. I was getting pretty concerned that, oh my God, they're actually about to lose this. This is crazy. But they ended up winning 124-116. Some things that I saw in this game, and we'll get to the positives later on when we talk about how well the starters played, because they did. Cade played really well. Jalen Duren played really well offensively. We're about to talk about something here coming up. Like I said, Ausar played well. Duncan played well. We'll talk about them in a minute, but there are some things that happened in this game that I just want to shed light on that needs to improve upon. And certain teams will be able to try to test this out against the Pistons. And it's something that's repeatedly been a problem for them whenever teams do have this. And that is, number one, Jalen Williams, not the guard, not the star, all-star guard next to SGA. Jalen Williams, their backup big, they're sometimes third-string big, sometimes doesn't even play big, just dropped 30 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists on the Pistons on 14 shots. He had 30 points on 14 shots. If you didn't hear me again, he had 30 points on 14 shot attempts. He was incredible. And the main reason why he was able to get off was because the Pistons absolutely struggle. Jalen Duren in particular in this game, they very much struggled to get out to him at the three-point line, especially off pick and pops. It got to a point in the third quarter that JB Bickerstaff was literally losing his mind to a point where everyone, not just at the game, but on the broadcast could hear him. He was losing his mind in the third quarter. He was nonstop screaming. And it was because they were allowing Jalen Williams to constantly get these clean looks off from above the break. They would run a pick and roll. He would pop. Duren would be too late to recover. And now he's getting an open three over and over and over again. So that has been a concern with the Pistons really the last 2 years, even last year when they were starting to, make this turnaround and be good. It was even a problem for him last year going against stretch bigs. You haven't seen it pop up as much this year. For some reason, I'd have to go back and fact check this, but I don't know why. It feels like they haven't had to play many stretch fives. Maybe it's because they've done a good job against them, but the way, without me fact checking this, it feels like to me, just off my memory, that they haven't played that many, and when they do, it kind of, pops off the screen a little bit. But in this game, you definitely saw how much of a problem that was. So, and if you have Stu, I think you're not worried about this as much because Stu is much better at this, and you could play Stu during those type of minutes if it's really becoming that big of an issue. But Jalen Duren, who has improved a ton this year, who's an all-star, who has been incredible this year, and has improved not just on offense, but he also has improved on defense. This has been the one area that has consistently given him problems, even as he's developed. So this is something to watch for. Really, just let's go through the East. Like, how many teams could really press the Pistons with that? Like Boston and New York both could really try to press them with it. So I guess that's a little bit of a concern. I don't think Cleveland's really causing that much of a issue with that. But just something to watch. It really gave the Pistons issues tonight against the Thunder. And then this is a Thunder team that didn't have SGA. They didn't have J-Dub. They didn't have Caruso. They didn't have Chet. They didn't have Hartenstein. Like, I understand that OKC is a very, very, very deep team. They are. I understand that. But this was OKC's B team. This was their B team. They didn't have one single starter, depending on how you want to consider Case and Wallace. But they didn't have, and I could take that back, they did have Lou Dort. But they lost a lot, like 5 of their best 6 players didn't even play. And the Pistons almost blew it. And part of it was also not just Jalen Williams, I'm going to call him J-Dub, but it was their overall ability to defend the three-point line in this game. Their closeouts were very lazy, not as crisp as you expect from a team who has done a great job of defending the three all season this year. It kind of shocked me how poor they were on their closeouts in this game, especially coming off this San Antonio Spurs game. You'd think that they wanted to come out and kind of set the tone, and even to start the game, it didn't start off amazing either. Like the first 2 minutes of the game wasn't great. But their three-point defense in this game was horrible. They allowed a lot of dribble penetration, which again just isn't like this team. I mean, if you look over the last 3 games, I believe it's been 18 threes allowed to the Bulls, 18 threes allowed to the San Antonio Spurs, and then in this game, you allowed the OKC Thunder also hit 18. So 3 straight games of allowing 18 threes. This one, OKC shot 36%. I believe last game, the Spurs shot close to 50% from deep. So the Pistons, I don't know what's going on over the last 3 games. Their three-point defense, which again, on the season has been very, very, very good, has not been as crisp as it's been all season. And that's something you definitely have to get into gear about. Like that is not good at all to see. That's not good to see this type of slippage. And it's not one of those things, I don't feel like, where it's just like three-point luck. A lot of it is you're allowing them to generate good looks. Like they're allowing a lot of dribble penetration and allowing a lot of driving kicks. Jalen Williams, like we just talked about, was getting a lot of clean pick and pops off too. So I feel like a lot of it is not just three-point luck. A lot of it is simply their closeouts have just not been good and as crisp as they've been all year. It was not good to see. And while look, they win, you take the win. Cade, Duren, Ausar, Duncan, they played well. But against OKC's B team, allowing them to hang around this much and almost, very nearly they stole it at the end. To let that kind of thing almost happen to you, it was, I wasn't the greatest thing to see, I'll say. I don't think it was the best thing to see. Also, to start off the game, they allowed OKC to just dominate on the offensive glass. Like, Duren in the second half really woke up on the glass and started punishing them, which is absolutely great to see. I mean, he just killed them on the glass in the second half with offensive rebounds. But in the first half, OKC had 5 offensive rebounds in the first quarter. They were allowing, that was another reason why they were getting so many open threes as well. They were getting offensive rebounds and kicking it back out. The effort wasn't consistently there at a high level. Like, there was points in this game where the starters would stretch the lead out to 15, 17. I think they were up 17 with 30 seconds left in the third. Like, at times they were like, okay, let's turn it up and then extend the lead. But it didn't stay at that level. You could probably just chalk that up if you'd like to, they know that they were going against the B team and they were kind of, just not giving it their all the time. I don't know if that's a valid excuse. I don't think that should happen. But I guess it happens throughout a season for sure. Despite the win, this was definitely too close. And the main thing that everyone needs to watch for moving forward is simply their three-point defense, especially against stretch bigs. But even without stretch bigs, they got to get better with their closeouts since the All-Star break. They've been very poor with them. So let me know in the comment section down below or over on Twitter @Khahil. how you guys felt after this game. What did you guys see from their defense, especially their three-point defense? Do you think it's just been luck, or do you feel like there's something else going on? Let me know again, comment section down below or over on Twitter at Khahil. Coming up, now we will talk about some positives. The starters, I felt like, did respond and for the most part played very well. We'll break down how well they played coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Welcome to the 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, or Cotton Candy. There's something for everyone. The board is set, the flavors are ready, and I've got my number one pick for the 5 Hour Flavor Draft. My favorite, personally, is going to be the Strawberry Banana, a tropical delight with strawberry, a taste that goes in everything from smoothies and milkshakes to cakes and ice cream. When I tell you guys I have so many strawberry smoothies, especially after my workouts, strawberry banana is my favorite flavor. So this one definitely would be my number one pick. But there's a ton of other flavors as well, like grape, cherry, fruity rainbow. You got berry, you got Hawaiian breeze, sour apple, tropical burst, and tons more. I would be here for another hour naming all of these flavors that they got. But my favorite, it will be the strawberry banana. 5 Hour Energy shots give you a boost with zero sugar. 5 Hour Energy has a lot of upcoming flavor innovations planned as well. Find your new favorite flavor of 5 Hour Energy shots available online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. Again, like I said, my favorite, strawberry banana. Make sure you guys check it out. But you guys can find all their different flavors available online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. Then I've got to tell you guys about another one of our sponsors. This is one of my favorite sponsors, someone that always helps me out. If I can find it here real quick. There you go. Game Time. I'm a procrastinator. I wait to the last second with everything, and it comes to buying tickets. I'm also a procrastinator. Also, it often screws me over. I get bad seats. I get bad prices. But with Game Time, I get absolutely saved. You can pull up the Game Time app, you can pick an upcoming NBA game, and you'll have the tickets locked for you within minutes. My favorite part is the fact that even if you wait all the way up until the last minute, they have great prices and deals for you all the way up until the last minute, and also you get to see the view from your seat before you make the decision to buy the tickets, so you don't have to worry about getting to the game. Oh, these were bad seats, shouldn't have bought these ones. No, you can find out right in the app before you make the purchase. Everything feels quick, intuitive, and stress-free from start to finish. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. That's code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. And remember, it's gametime.co, not .com. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. This is another great way to support the podcast. I once again want to apologize to the Spotify listeners. Everything should be worked out now. I apologize greatly. Kind of out of my control, but I apologize for episodes not appearing for you guys over there. Another quick update for you guys. Every Dayer Club, you get Discord access to Locked On Pistons server, and you also can get Locked On Pistons ad-free. Head over to the Everydayer Club. You can find that link in the description down below. And the final update, if you guys didn't hear on the last episode, we have a new project coming to you guys twice a week called Locked On Pistons Squad Show, where it's going to be me, Jake Ritma, who, if you guys were listening last year, he hosted some Locked On Pistons post-game shows. I know a few of you guys were confused about that last year. He is returning to do these Locked On Pistons squad shows, but joining us too is former Piston and two-time NBA champion Lindsey Hunter. So he will be joining us. It was a fun first episode. That one posted 2 days ago. We have another one coming to you guys tomorrow. So I think you guys really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun recording with them. I think this is going to be a fun thing moving forward. Just some more content for you guys, a different type of content. Talking with a former NBA player every week. I think you guys will really enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. The first episode. So make sure you guys are checking that out. But let's get back to the game against OKC. And like I said, I think the starters responded, for the most part, really well. I mean, we're going to talk about the struggles of the bench later, because I think that's really where the game kind of got lost and why the game was as close as it was. Duren's defense against the threes wasn't great. Cade had quite a bit of turnovers. That wasn't great. But overall, I think the starters did their job. I mean, Duren was a plus 12. Cade was a plus 17. Ausar was plus 15. Duncan plus 15. So, like, in their minutes, they basically dominated throughout the game. So, they weren't perfect, but I think overwhelmingly they for the most part, play pretty well. I want to start with Cade, who in this past game against the Spurs obviously shot 5 of 26, and that was not like him at all, like to have that bad of a shooting game, especially on national TV. I'm sure he wasn't very happy about it at all. I mean, we saw how unhappy he was during the game. And there's been a lot of talk now. I mean, the Pistons are going to continue to be talked about nationally. And going into that game, they already talked a lot positively. But then after that game, there seemed to be a lot of, oh, well, they got exposed. Look, oh, they can't do this. Oh, they can't do, like, there's a lot of talk like that. And some people are going after Cade because of how he shot. And he responded really well in this game. A very efficient 29 points on 81 true shooting. Maybe one of his, I'm going to go and look for some filters and figure out, has Cade ever scored 25-plus points this efficiently? This might be one of his most efficient games of his career. 29 points, just 5 missed shots. Again, like I said, 81 true shooting. But something I want to call to attention for everybody, which is a pretty big deal, I'd say, is the fact that Cade over his last 10 games is shooting 40% from 3. Over his last 20 games, he's shooting 35% from 3. And this is on around 6 attempts a game. And on top of that, I've told you guys this on the podcast numerous times over the last week and a half or so, Cade is shooting around 35% on pull-up threes. So a lot of his three-point percentage that was being weighed down was his catch and shooting. We know how much he struggled randomly at the beginning of the year as a catch-and-shoot three-point shooter when he's been great at that throughout his career. So his three-point shot skyrocketing back up right now over the last 10 games has a lot to do with the fact that he's actually hitting his catch-and-shoot threes now. Like, he's remained to hit the pull-up threes. He hit a few tonight. I mean, he really killed the Knicks with it as well. So, like, the pull-up three-point shooting has remained. We've been waiting for, like, his catch-and-shoot numbers to regress to the mean or progress to the mean, whatever the correct term is there. And it looks like it's starting to happen. Tonight, he had a moving corner three as well off a kick-out pass from Ausar. So that kind of stuff is good to see. And I know he didn't shoot well against the Spurs, but overwhelmingly, for the most part, the last 15-ish games, really the last 20 games to be honest, he's been trending up and up and up as a three-point shooter, getting back to where he was. And if that happens, he just is incredibly hard to guard. If he's able to score from beyond the arc, pull-ups, catch and shoot, play off the ball, get to the mid-range, get to the rim, he's very, very difficult to try. I mean, already he's difficult to guard, but if that's going well for him, it's even harder, much harder to guard him. So I thought Cade played really well in this game. 29 points, 13 assists, 5 rebounds. He did turn the ball over 8 times. He did have 3 blocks and 3 steals, though. He's not averaging a block on the season, which is crazy. That's crazy to think. 8 turnovers. Honestly, watching the game, that didn't pop off the screen to me. Like, I looked after and I was like, wow, he had 8 turnovers. I don't feel like a lot of them came from him just, like, losing the ball. Like, I have to go back and watch each one, but it felt like he had a few when he tried some passes that maybe were tighter windows. But watching the game, at least live for me, it didn't feel like he had 8. That was kind of surprising to me going back and looking at it. But I guess that's a good thing. That it wasn't like something that felt like he was impacting the game or giving OKC a chance to win. I'm sure, obviously, it didn't help. But it didn't feel like those were backbreakers or anything. I truly didn't really recognize or notice them during the watch of the game. But I thought Cade was fantastic. Jalen Duren, I thought in the second half really responded. Like I said, in the first half, I really was not happy and kind of shocked that OKC was getting as many offensive rebounds as they did. They had 7 offensive rebounds. That was mostly in the first quarter, but that was a lot when Jalen Duren played. So I was looking to see how JD would respond in the second half. And, I mean, you want to talk about responding. He responded. The Pistons in the second half destroyed the Thunder on the glass this time. First half, it was much closer. Second half is 26-15. They only had 5 offensive rebounds in the second half. The Pistons, though, had 7 and 19 defensive rebounds. They did a much better job in the second half, and a lot of that was Jalen Duren, who had 8 rebounds alone in the second half, along with 3 offensive rebounds, was just obliterating the Thunder inside, just killing them. So I thought he really turned it up. He needs to improve how he guards stretch bigs, but I have a feeling that's probably just going to be something he struggles with throughout his career. Not a lot of bigs just aren't great guarding the perimeter. I think that's something we're probably going to just deal with throughout his career, and that's fine. He's improved in other areas. Like, you'd like him to get a little better in this, but it is what it is. I thought, for the most part, 29 points, 15 rebounds, and 12 of 17. I mean, that's also another efficient 72 true shooting for 29 points. I mean, there are two best scorers, JD and Cade were very efficient and scored a ton in this game. So really good games, really good response from those two. And then Ausar, I thought, played one of his best games of the year. He only had 11 points, but if you watch the game, I feel like you walk away saying this was one of his best games of the year. I really liked at halftime, they interviewed him and they asked him what was going well and how he's been able to have such a big impact in this game, despite not scoring like 20 points or whatever. And he said, I'm just playing hard, learning from my mistakes. So I really liked hearing that because I feel like everyone that heard that, I don't feel like I'm reaching at all. It felt like that was a direct response to what happened last game. I think all the players, everyone, newsflash for everybody, peek behind the doors, everyone sees what happens on, like, the players, coaches, some of the like, they are aware of what gets talked about social media, what gets talked about on some of these podcasts, maybe even this one, wink, wink. Like, they are aware of some of the stuff that happens. They don't cover their eyes, okay? So I'm pretty sure that was almost a 99% sure that was him directly responding. And it sounded like, with that answer, that it was kind of like a positive response. It was a positive reinforcement that, heck, I criticized it a ton. I think a lot of people still very much are not happy that it happened. But it seems like at the very least that Ausar, his reception to it was, okay, wasn't, oh, I'm mad, why didn't I play all this? It's from this game and from his own words and his actions really throughout the game, it really felt like he took that benching and was like, okay, I'm going to be better moving forward. I'm going to make it to where there's no reason to sit me. Like, I'm going to make it to where if he sits me, it's even more blatantly, like, bad. Like, I'm going to play my absolute best. I'm not going to make any more mistakes. And you saw that in this game. He played extremely well on both ends of the floor. He had 11 points, 7 assists. His passing in this game was incredible. Some of the anticipation, the processing he has as a passer, it's something that I've talked about with him going all the way back to pre-draft. It's why I've said over and over that the handle is what really needs to improve, not just the shot. It's really the handle, so you can really maximize his playmaking and anticipation. It's tough to really maximize it to its fullest degree if you don't trust the handle enough. But you saw it really pop in this game. He had some really nice passes to Duren, a really nice wraparound pass to Cade, a few nice kicks. Like, he was an incredible passer in this game, and I believe it was Jarrett Jack at halftime that got interviewed and said, yeah, we really wanted to come in and make it an emphasis to put the ball in Ausar's hands a little bit more. We wanted to get him going, allow him to be a playmaker, and move Cade off the ball, let him come off some actions. Something I've really wanted them to do. Just they like to do it with Daniss and Caris. Great, you can do it with Ausar too. Cade doesn't have to be at the top of the defense watching everything with Ausar on the floor. Ausar can run the offense a little bit and get Cade off the actions, and they did that a lot tonight. So Ausar had some really nice drives at the basket as well. I thought this was a really good game for him. 11 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. I thought he was incredible. So their big three just really came out and showed up and dominated in this game. I mean, those guys in their minutes. I mean, Cade played 38, Duren played 31, Ausar played 28. They won their minutes. They all three played really, really well. A great response from the Spurs game. And I'm not going to lie, I was really happy to hear Ausar's response at halftime to how everything went, because there was a part of me, I'm not going to lie, there was a part of me that, obviously you leave it behind, there was a part of me that was like, it was national TV, kind of aired him out on national, I mean, not kind of, you did air him out on national TV. How's that really going to go over? Like, is that really the best button to push? Like, is he going to be really that receptive to it? Like, there was a worry a little bit there with me, but that was pretty much squashed immediately. It looked like that. For what it's worth, it feels like that it triggered something where Ausar understood, hey, whatever it was that happened won't happen again. I want to play, basically. So it was good to see. Cade was tremendous. Duren dominant in the paint, and Ausar was a Swiss Army knife like we want to see him be. And Duncan almost sprained his ankle. I said I was going to talk about Duncan. End of the game, he shoots a 3, gets caught underneath, lands on someone's foot. He rolls over, grabbing his ankle, looks like incredible pain. Dude, I fell to my knees out. My heart dropped. If he would have been hurt right there, season's over. I was like, oh my God, I just witnessed the Pistons season, and the best season we've had in 15 plus years. I just watched the end. in a random February game. I cannot like I was dooming. I was ready to just exit. I was ready to call it quits. It was like I have not felt that much like near injury, scare, concern, like whatever. And I can't remember because I swear to God, when he rolled over and was holding his ankle, looked like he was screaming. I was like, dude, no shot that I just saw this happen. I was freaking out, but he stood back up, looked like he was faking it a little bit to sell the call and started laughing. So he's good. Thank God. But you want to talk about a scare. I mean, like that, out of all the players that could have sprained an ankle, the only shooter on the team, I mean, that would have been tough. Coming up, this was not the greatest game from the bench, specifically for one player, and I want to talk about it, break it down. Some things I feel like we're seeing since All-Star break as well that's been starting to happen. We'll break it down and talk about it coming up. Workplace chaos, deadline stacking up, inbox overflowing, the one position you have to fill still sitting open. When the pressure's on, you need the right hire. This is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for. Skills, experience, location, so you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show would get $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire. This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. This game was pretty close, like we've already talked about, and a lot of that has to do with how the bench played. Now, Javonte Green came through at the very end of this game and hit 2 threes that were very much needed. Hit one, really broke the cover on the rim at the end of this game. Pistons couldn't hit anything. Thunder made it a 4-point game, and Javonte hit a really big-time three from the left corner. So that was really clutch of him. I didn't think he had played well at all since the All-Star break, and I didn't think he had played well before that moment. But in the fourth quarter, he came through and played decent for them. So that was cool to see. Even Paul Reed, I don't think this was his best showing, but Paul Reed has been so good that I don't really care. And a bad showing for Paul Reed is 8 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 blocks. So it's like, I thought offensively this is one of his, it was definitely more so offensively. Defensively, he was still Paul Reed. Offensively, I think this was one of his worst games. He was kind of picking up on things a little late, seeing things a little late, put him in some tough positions. Like he got blocked on a baseline jumper because the previous possession, he was left open, hesitated to take it, then tried to take it. It wasn't there, so then he ended up trying to dribble and turned it over. Next possession, they immediately give it to him. He tries to go right into it, and he just gets blocked. Felt like he wasn't seeing things as quickly or as well as he usually does on offense. But what I really want to focus on is there's some specific players I want to focus on here. And Tobias did not have this was one of his worst games of the year. He's quietly not had a very good last few games either. That has been a big reason for why, that was one of the bigger reasons why there's other things that happened. Obviously, Cade 5 of 26, but Tobias really struggling against the Spurs hurt. He was basically a no factor in this game against OKC. And when we talk about them not getting enough 3-point volume up and it really just being on Duncan and it leads to Ron taking too many threes, it's because their starting 4 isn't a guy who gets up a ton of volume. It's been something we've complained about all year. It's what they definitely have to address in the offseason. They need to get a volume shooting 3 or a 4 that shoots a lot of threes, because it can't be solely reliant on Duncan and Cade to get volume up. If those guys aren't hitting 7, 8 threes a game, you're just not going to hit 9 threes made in a game. And that just can't be a recipe for success every single game. So That's been a concern all year, but I feel like that's kind of something we've just expected and accepted. Who I really wanted to focus on here were three guys. Daniss, I do not think he has played very well, really the last 5 games. You guys remember when he had 15 assists off the bench that one game or whatever? And I came on and I was like, this was one of the best passing performances I've seen from a backup guard in a Pistons jersey in a while. Going back to Brandon Jennings, where I believe he had 20 off the bench or something at one point when they traded for Reggie Jackson. I think there was someone else who had in the mid 2000s. I think it might have been a two-way guy, or I forget what his name was. Oh my God, I'm gonna be so mad that I forget who this was. That I can see him in my, oh my God, I'm so mad I can't remember. It was a mid 2000s guy they picked up, I think mid season. And he was a great story. He came in, he had a lot of assists. I can't remember who it was. But either way, my overall point here, not to get too off topic here, was that Daniss really showed off some of these processing reads, some of these great passes. And then recently, it feels like he just hasn't been passing the ball, which has not been good. The last 10 games, he's at 1.4 assists to 1 turnover. The last 5 games, he's averaging more turnovers than assists. And in this game, yet again, another game where he had 0 assists. I don't know if he feels like that he has to get more shots up, or if he feels like his role now is to be more of a scorer, or what. But he has not been as crisp as a backup guard lately. And he has not been he's been openly missing guys at times. It feels like blatant misses too. And forcing some shots up. There was one play in the third quarter, or it might have been early fourth. Either way, somewhere in the second half, he's pushing the fast break. Ausar is cutting down the left wing, and Ausar is wide open. He doesn't hit Ausar, so now it ends up into him dribbling across the court, flowing to his left hand. He takes a step back left hand, or step back going to his left midi that misses and immediately translates to a fast break opportunity for the Thunder. He just hasn't been as crisp, and that's a concern. I feel like we need to see him, if he's going to be the backup point guard, which is what he had looked so good doing throughout the year, and part of the reason why they didn't go out and get anyone else, and part of the reason why they went on and moved Ivy, all of that. He needs to do what they were wanting him to do, and he hasn't done that in the last 5 games. So watch for that. Caris LeVert, he had 9 points. Probably the least impactful 9 points you'll see. I'm sorry to bag on him, but he had 2 turnovers in this game. If you just watch the games, he gave up in that third quarter or early fourth quarter when OKC started coming back, 3 of those threes were on him, from 1, either helping down too far, or 2, giving up dribble penetration, or 3, closing out late. There's times that he just doesn't try to rebound. There was a stat floating around today on Twitter that he has a lower defensive rebound percentage than Daniss Jenkins and Marcus Sasser. It's I think it actually is, out of all rotation players, the lowest on the team. The random times when he's able to score, it's great. It's not consistent enough to make up for all the other stuff, and it makes sense that he was a team worst -11. His minutes have not been good in a very long time. In a very long time. To start the year, it was looking maybe positive the first 2-3 weeks. It feels like since then it's been just outright bad for a while now. So I don't know what they do with that. I mean, I do know what they do with it, but I don't think JP wants to. And then really the last person I want to hit on, which was really probably the most disappointing, Kevin Huerter got a chance in this game in the second half to play. And I tweeted out as soon as he was subbed in, I was like, everyone should be really hoping that he plays well and hits some shots, because the Pistons are desperately looking for somebody to step in and be this extra shooter, this extra spacer that they can trust and play well. And if it can be him, they would be ecstatic. So we all need to be hoping that he plays well in this stint and gets minutes moving forward, because he's starting to play well and hit shots. And he looked really bad. I can't sit here and lie. Can't sit here and sugarcoat it. It's not even offensively. Offensively, I think he was missed a few times on some threes against the zone that OKC tried running in the fourth, which was pretty effective. Pistons looked in the fourth quarter, at times in the earlier parts of the game, they shredded the zone, and then the fourth quarter, they I don't know. But I thought they missed him a few times offensively. But not even offensively is really what I'm talking about. I mean, he only got one shot up. He basically got cardio in offensively. That's not great to see. But really what makes it even more worse is that he was giving up dribble penetration almost every single time on the other end of the floor. I mean, it was bad. Like his defense in the first few games we saw from him, I was like, oh, okay, that looks like it might be even better than I thought it would be. No, this game it was pretty terrible. Usually for casual viewers, they may not pick up. Like a lot of times they just focus on offense, and it's harder for the casual fan. It's no big deal, but it's harder for the casual fan to pick up on, okay, what's led to this defensive breakdown? Like what caused this? I'm telling you, Kevin Huerter's defense was so bad at the point of attack in this game. I feel like Stevie Wonder could have seen it. Like it was, that was not a great 7 minutes he played. So I don't know if we're going to get to see him again in the next game. Maybe this is Chaz's turn now. Maybe Marcus Sasser gets a chance now. But Huerter got his chance here to kind of say, hey, I'm the guy that you need to play. I can, you guys need shooting. I can do it, and I'm a good player. It just did not. It did not look good at all. So I don't know if we'll see him in the next game get the chance. Maybe we see Marcus or Chaz. But that's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen every single day. Free and available on all your podcast platforms. Hit that subscribe button to the YouTube channel. Leave us a 5-star review, whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Stay safe out there, and peace out, everybody.